Welcome to a good bonus. My name's Steve, and I hope you've already listened to the full episode of Love Gone Good. And if you haven't, go listen to that first, because this will make a lot more sense to you if you listen to that one first. If you've already listened to that one, or you're just a rebel who doesn't take orders from a guy named Steve, then here it is. Here's a little bonus material featuring my friend Martha Madison and also my friend Sonia Blangiardo on the topic of a love scene on a soap opera. I hope you enjoy it. I'm working at Bravo. I'm on the 6th floor. You're all the way downstairs on the 1st floor. We didn't know each other. The year is roughly 2004, 2005.
Mm-hmm.
And we had the feed. And I used to keep the feed on because I was editing and I had 5-6 TVs. So I would just put the feed on because you all would make me chuckle. I just found it fascinating how quickly you'd move. But also you were doing this insane set of storylines I won't even get into. We both know. They're always crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But Belle is going to lose her virginity.
Oh
and
my God.
I watched this, and one of my bosses came in to watch. She stopped in and goes, "What are we watching?" I'm like, "They're filming Belle's losing her virginity. This is fascinating." Because I want to bring something up that was interesting to me. The other guy playing Philip was...
Kyle Brandt. Mm-hmm. That was my second day, Steve.
Okay, this is so crazy.
Belle lost her virginity on day 2 of Martha's tenure.
Okay, this is so crazy that this is all the timing that we're talking about this. Because what I remember is he kept getting really into it. And
Yes.
the directors kept, all due respect to him, the directors kept saying, "Hey, can you pull back? You pull back. She's a flower. She's sweet. She's our ingenue. She's our girl that just grew up." And he kept arguing, and we're watching this happen. And my boss Amy was fascinated. She's like, "This is fascinating." I'm like, "I know. Let's not work anything up." Like, we literally did not do any Bravo for like 2 hours. It wasn't even that long. Watching you, what was your headspace in that moment? Because I remember watching you and watching him and hearing the directors over the intercom, saying, "Hey, can you pull back a little bit there, buddy?"
Yeah, I remember it well. I was, I don't even know if there's a word to describe how I was feeling that day, because obviously
Traumatized?
no. I was still on a high of having this amazing job, and obviously I've watched many, sex scenes on soap operas and other TV, and I know, it's not a big deal, and I was 27 at the time, like, I'm an adult, I can do this. But Kyle, all I remember is I think he was equally nervous, and I remember that it was really like physically hot, like temperature hot in the studio, and he was sweating. That's all I
Oh my
remember
God.
is he was sweating on me, and I was like, "Okay, let's just get the shot. Like, I need to towel off." I remember that, and then he went on, I don't know, some podcast last year and made some reference to himself being he was the only, quote unquote, only person that wasn't getting regularly like serviced by his co-star at the time. Like, he was just really mad that I wasn't into him.
What?
Yeah, I know. So crazy. I mean, I was already dating AJ. Like, I wasn't interested at all.
So glad that you got to get your side in this. Okay, here's my question.
Yeah.
When you
Yeah.
do a love scene, what are you wearing under the sheets?
Well, it's probably morphed over the years, but at the beginning, I mean, that day, I think I was wearing like boxer shorts and pasties, right?
Okay. Oh
Because,
God.
yeah, not, it's like, "Hi, my name's Martha, and here are my boobs." You know?
Do they clear the studio out, or can you request that? I've heard that.
You used to be able to request, I don't know if you can or can't anymore, I just don't, but there were some scenes that you knew would be a little more graphic or difficult to choreograph that you could ask for the feed to be turned off. So at least,
Right.
it's just contained to the studio. But everyone's very respectful. I mean, it's a very professional environment. I was a dancer most of my life, so I'm not super modest about that kind of stuff. I don't, you're changing in the wings, between numbers or whatever. It just doesn't matter to me that much. As I've gotten older, and had a baby and stuff. Like, it's not what it used to be, and so I
or
have
where it
more
used to
like
be.
right, I have more coverage these days, a little
Right.
more lift, a little more coverage these days, but, Belle doesn't get a lot of action these days, so
Oh, she got some. I was watching recently, and she got some. I mean, it was like they woke up together and they
yeah,
went back.
it's
It's
right.
sweet
It's
because there's.
sweet. It's not hot, it's sweet. I don't do hot yet.
So Martha and I had a whole conversation about her very first sex scene, and she has her memory of it being her second day and all the stress of it and all the different things that go into it. But I wanted to talk to you about a love scene, specifically a sex scene.
Mm.
When you get a script and do you get a breakdown of what's in the script, or are you just going through it and discovering it like when an actor gets a script?
Pretty much we get the scripts at the same time. Yes.
And then if you hit the page where it's a love scene, do you groan? Do you view it as a challenge? Does it depend on who's in the scene, actor wise? Don't name names.
Usually I groan, and it has nothing to do with the actors, because I have to admit, all the actors, when they're doing love scenes, they get it, and it's like, oh, God love you, you're such troopers. I groan because I know it's going to take me an hour to do something that is 30 seconds of airtime, if even that. Love scenes are the least romantic, least sexy in terms of shooting and TV production. They couldn't be more mechanical. Touch here, do this, shot of hands, brush her hair away from her cheek. It's that. It's not. Hopefully the translation is it's sexy when people watch it on air, but it really is. There's nothing sexy about it when you're doing it.
And do you have to figure it out based on what's written in the script? Does it say, like, generically, they make love? Or does it describe, I mean, without getting too, I'm not being pornographic here, but different couples have different sex scenes. If there's an older couple who's more been together a long time versus a teen couple, you have to be careful if they're too young, et cetera, et cetera. Is that all written out in the script, or do you have to sit down from your director's eye and figure it out?
Sometimes it's a little bit of both. Like sometimes they'll be like, milk it. We've been waiting a long time for this couple to get together. If there's some sort of reunited couple that's been broken up for a while, or tastefully, they'll put the writers will put in tastefully if it's younger characters. So they do put keywords, but knowing the story, the just from knowing the characters and where they're at, that'll really determine what kind of love scene you produce. Like, is it this super couple that's been apart and you want to make it as romantic as possible? If it's just a couple that is all about sex, well, it's not going to be as romantic, and it's going to be a little grittier. So definitely knowing where the characters are coming from paints the picture of that particular love montage.
Chemistry on a set between actors. Obviously, that's in the writing. It's also in the casting and the direction. Would you say it's a mix of all? And if one's missing and you're a director, is it on your shoulders to make it, make that love moment happen? Not just the sex, just the romance of it, just the feeling of it.
Absolutely. And I think I've worked with both. I mean, really, for the most part, everybody loves and respects each other. And that's not just like, a cover story. It really is true. Everybody works together. We're all a family, day in, day out. We know when each other's kids are born, and what we had for dinner last night. Like, it's that. But there have been times where two actors really don't like each other, and yet they're stuck in a romantic relationship on canvas. It doesn't happen very often, but when that happens, what do? You kind of use it. So you don't want to push the boundaries and make them do something that will make their collaboration even more stressful for them. But there is something, there's a thin line between love and hate. So a lot of times that passion, even though it started as something negative, kind of translates into something positive when all is said and done. So it really depends on who you're working with and what their boundaries are. And again, goes back to communication, and you'll get some, because they know their jobs. Ultimately, they may not want to be doing that because of any reason. Oh gosh, if my wife sees this, she's going to throw a fit. And I have worked with actors too, where their spouses, especially if they're if some couples, real life couples, were couples with other people on set, and it was tricky. It was totally tricky, and so you knew that going in, but at the end of the day, they want to make their performance as authentic and real as possible, so they do come through. But those are challenges that are presented along the way.
And actors who get on a soap know what they're getting into. Meaning,
Sure.
right? It's a love story, so at some point you're going to probably be involved in a love story if you're on one.
Exactly. No one's too shocked if they're asked to take off their, to slip their top off. I mean, it's a soap opera. It's not, whatever, Breaking Bad. So they get it.